Hey guys, lesson 2.6b, solving inequalities. Now that we've learned how to solve equations, solving an inequality is not much different. So the difference here is instead of putting an equal sign, we're going to have a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to symbol. But we're going to still do the same properties. So you can solve inequalities in the same way you solve equations. We're going to use inverse operations to get the variable by itself. You already know how to solve 3x minus 1 equals 4, and so in that case, it's the same thing. Instead of an equals, we're going to have a greater than or a less than symbol or something else. But it's the same process. So here we're going to solve. We have to do inverse operations, so we need to add both sides by 5. We get x is less than 2, because negative 3 plus 5 is 2. And that's the answer. The solution is x is less than 2. Now, if you're graphing the solution, you put an open circle, because there's no equals, and you shade to the left, because x is less than 2. All right? Now, in this inequality, we have to isolate that variable. We have a positive 4.8 on the right side, so we are going to subtract 4.8 to both sides. Once you do that, we're going to get a negative 8.3 on the left side. Well, I want you to notice that the x is usually on the left side, but this time it's not. You can switch it, but if you switch it, make sure you switch your inequality as well, which is noticed right here. Make sure that when you switch your solution, your inequality switches as well, so it stays true. Now, this is just saying we can do the exact same thing for inequalities with multiplication and division. If the number is positive, nothing changes. So here we have x over 10 is less than or equal to negative 2. So we're going to multiply both sides by 10. And we're going to get x is less than or equal to negative 20. When you graph it, it's much the same. We do a closed circle on negative 20, and we shade to the left because x is less than or equal to negative 20. Now in this situation, 2.5x is attached by multiplication, and it's positive, so we're going to divide by 2.5 and get that our solution is x is greater than 4.5. We graph it with an open circle, and we shade to the right because it's greater than. Now what's different with inequalities this year is if you divide or multiply by a negative number, the sign changes. The inequality symbol must be reversed for the inequality to remain true. So a negative sign in an inequality does not necessarily mean you must reverse the inequality symbol. Only reverse the inequality symbol when you multiply or divide each side by a negative number. What do I mean by that? Well, notice here we are dividing by a negative 4. So to solve it, we have to multiply by a negative 4. But when we multiply by a negative number, our inequality sign flips. So the negative 4's cancel out, and our solution now is y is less than negative 24 because our sign flipped. Okay? Only flip your sign when you multiply or divide by a negative number. So the solution is y is less than negative 24, and we graph the same way. Now in this case, we are multiplying by a negative 1.4, so to solve it, we must divide by a negative 1.4. When you divide by a negative number, the sign flips. So our answer is y is greater than or equal to 15. The sign flipped, and when I reversed my y onto this side, I flipped it again just to keep it the same. All right, so now let's try a two-step equation, or inequality, sorry. We're going to do the inverse operations. So we're going to subtract 2 to both sides and get negative 3x is greater than 9. Notice our sign did not change because we did not add or, we did not divide or multiply by a negative number. You can only flip when you divide or multiply by a negative number. But notice here we're dividing by a negative 3, so our sign flipped. So x is less than negative 3. Now let's apply this to a real-world application. A contestant in a weight loss competition wants to lose at least, that is your clue, it's an inequality, 30 pounds in 4 months. Write and solve an inequality to find the average number x of pounds the contestant must lose in each of the last 2 months to meet the goal. So to find our average, we must add up 9 plus 5 plus x plus x. We're going to combine those like terms and get 14 plus 2x. Now, 14 plus 2x must equal 30 pounds. So, because the contestant wants to lose at least 30 pounds, use the symbol greater than or equal to. Because at least, she can go over, but she does not want anything less. So 14 plus 2x is greater than or equal to 30. We're going to subtract both sides by 14 and get 2x is greater than 16. Notice the sign did not change because we did not multiply or divide by a negative number. Now we're going to divide by 2 and get x is greater than or equal to 8. Again, we did not change our sign because we did not multiply or divide by a negative number. So the contestant must lose an average of at least 8 pounds in each of the last 2 months to meet her goal. And that is the end of the lesson. Please let me know if you have any questions, and please be very careful on your classwork.